Hey guys, so I was helping clean out a garage and found a box of comics, saved them from the landfill. So this is them. Got some John Byrne Alpha Flight. Gotta like that John Byrne. This old war comic looks pretty good. Never heard of it before, but check it out. So what I'll do is uh, read the ones that I'm not sure of, see if I like them. With Halloween coming up, you can just give them away to the local kids, and anything that doesn't get given away Halloween night or afternoon, whatever, you can just give it away to the local thrift store. There's one that's really good. What do you call it? It's like run by a women's shelter. The prices are really low. Because it's nice that stuff like this will just probably... Anything I can't give away, it'll end up getting sold to people who really want them for like $1 each. So that's how you want to keep it. It's good, those grassroots kind of thrift stores. Matt Wagner Demon. Haven't really read this stuff before, but give it a whirl. The Kirby stuff and the Garth Ennis stuff is very good. I'm trying to be quiet because everybody in the house is like trying to sleep. Anywho, yeah, this Batman looks nice. Who did it again? Gene Colan and Alfredo Alcala. The Pinoy Pride. There's a lot of Alcala and Tongal and some other guys. I think there's even like some Protashio stuff in this batch. This is really nice looking though. I've never really read too much DC outside of Vertigo, so we'll see what this stuff is like. Fury of Firestorm. Power the Duck. This looks pretty cool. As far as like the villains. Look at this chick. This guy. This guy too. So I guess this whole batch is all like Bronze Age, like late 70s, early 80s. I like these faces. They've got personality. It's a distinct style. So these Marvel Tales, reprints of classic Spider-Man. It's cool to find this like classic Ditko Spider-Man. Never read it before, so we'll get the chance to finally check that out. And I'm sure if I don't like these, kids will like them. Of course, I'm trying to work on a comic with a friend right now, so I like to look at stuff, try to learn some tips and pitfalls, stuff to try or look out for. You can always learn something. This is a cool little find in this batch. I guess, what would this be called? Silver Age? Superman? I think if this was near mint, it would be like $80 or $100 or something like that. Of course, it's quite beat up, but I see it still as a win, because I like it if I can find like something that would be $100 and then I can just read it. You know, otherwise I never would get the chance or like bother. You know, I'm not into like huge value comics for the most part. But you know, So yeah, as far as DC goes, Teen Titans, I'm not very familiar with that at all. Never seen the show, but I'll get a chance to check some of it out, see how I like it. And of course, if I don't dig it, then it'll find a good home still. George Perez, Romeo Tanghal, Marv Wolfman. Good old Marv. Wolfman. Yeah. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Deadman ad. If there's a lot of stuff of this era, I might want to cut one of these out for a little poster. Deadman. I love Deadman. There was a lot of Teen Titans in this batch. All these covers seem kind of familiar. I don't know if they're like iconic issues or anything. But the art does look really cool. Character designs are pretty neat. Teen Titans. Lots of Teen Titans. Warlord. I don't know what this is, but you see it a lot in like bargain bins, I think. But the art looks pretty dope. As far as like kind of fantasy barbarian stuff. Gotta like that. Reprint of old Neil Adams, Superman and Batman. I guess he's got like kryptonite gloves or something there. Carrie Bates, the writer. Okay, and lots of X-Men too, which is cool because I'm trying to, just for the hell of it, get a bunch of X-Men and read through them. I never really read X-Men growing up. I was more like into Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Punisher, that kind of thing. But, yeah. Nightcrawler was always a favorite. How can you not love Nightcrawler? Just gonna take a look at this for a while. 6 panels on a page there. 7. I just love like the design of his face, even having the dark there and the eyes like that. I always wished that my hair was like that, but I think my jaw is too wide to pull that kind of thing off. Yeah, I guess I should be calling out the issue numbers of these when I'm going through these. So, Uncanny X-Men 208, 209. This is mostly a John Romita Jr. era. 210, 211. It's kind of cool that these were in there. 212, Wolverine versus Sabretooth. Slightly more hard to find. Same with this number 213. I think this is when Psylocke joined the X-Men. Also, I think it's sought by collectors just because of the cover as well. 225 and 226. Nice skeletons on this. And this annual number 10, this is full Art Adams throughout. I believe it's the first appearance of the X-Babies. And something about Longshot here, what does it say? Introducing Longshot. But yeah, looking forward to checking this out. I don't think I ever read this. This Art Adams art is going to be pretty wicked. Classic X-Men, which I've never really checked out, but I realized seeing this that the backup stories are pretty rad. I really like this John Bolton art. It's kind of like a somber character kind of study, these stories. He draws his women really nicely. He has like a delicate touch with I guess, like, what would you call it? Just his style, the illustration, the brush strokes, and the amount of like line weight and everything. And I like the facial expressions too. Shows a lot of like kind of complicated emotions going on in people. For instance, when Storm is going to chase this purse thief into a tunnel, but her claustrophobia kicks in. Jean, she loses her concentration in the subway, and all the people's different minds and viewpoints, POVs, and their thoughts, different languages, all their emotions flutter, and it kind of like sets her off. Yeah, I like that. Kind of reminds me of what's his name, Spider. This kind of stuff is really, really well done. It's John Bolton on the back cover. So I might look for these classic X-Men, especially for the backup stories, if they're all like this good, because I know some of, like, say, Jim Lee's first stuff was in these backups in classic X-Men. There's a story where they're mourning, I forget his X-Men name, but John Proudfoot, and they kind of think about their last interactions with him, his expressions on his parents. There's a lot going on. Storm, Cyclops. And they kind of start to realize that Proudfoot was hiding like a real sadness in him, for himself to die. Look at Nightcrawler. Look how good that looks. Here's Proudfoot's face. Storm has she moves into an attic in the X Mansion and starts to fill it with flowers, and it kind of makes him feel bitter. Something. Look at his face there too. Okay, my phone's gonna die, so I'll continue this on the next part. That batch of free stuff rescued from the landfill. It was maybe about half as big again, with stuff that I wasn't really interested in, so I took it to an LCS / bookstore, traded that stuff in for this stuff. Alien Covenant DVD. Looking forward to seeing the deleted scenes. The deleted scenes from Prometheus really added a lot to it, and say what you will, but Walter and David, man, come on. Fantastic Four Visionaries, John Byrne. Trade paperback, the first one, so I'll check that out. Not too familiar with Fantastic Four, but heard good things. It's G.I. Joe with the Frank Miller cover. Him having the cover on there gives me the incentive to finally check this out after all those years. Green Lantern Sinestro Core War. Trade paperback by Uncle E. EVS himself. Get to read that all. Garth Ennis collection of Judge Dredd. Looking forward to this too. I was missing this issue. Almost have all of them now. Stainless Steel Armadillo number 4. Superman Year 1 by Frank Miller and J.R.J.R. Should be interesting. I'll give it a whirl. Frank Miller has an infinite pass from, I should just read everything he's ever done. I reckon. I don't know. Can't go too wrong, right? Food for thought, maybe. And Superman Year 1, number 2. Alright, guys, so have fun out there. Take care. Take it easy. Be careful. Don't be too careful. I don't know what to say to end these videos. But I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.